What's up, Exeters? Tonight, we've exited off in a special place, a place we've been wanting to come to for a while. It's supposed to be so sweet, so much activity. Fingers crossed. But we are here in the UK at the Hellfire Caves.
But we can get out, right? Okay, so hi, my name's Willow Randall. I'm the manager here at the Hellfire Caves, and I'm also a medium. So I've been at this location for about 2.5 years now, sort of, and it's very intense. I've obviously just said to you guys off camera, it's, you know, very demonic. It's very physical as well. I mean, myself, I've come up with scratches on me, I've had my hair pulled, I've had stones thrown at me, like handprints on my clothes. I've seen people, I've literally had to drag grown men out of the caves because they're just behind, they're not behind the eyes.
That's gonna be me.
I was gonna say, my muscles are feeling strong today, so if any of you need any help, but if we're going, obviously you asked about hotspots for locations, there's 3 places I'd mainly recommend. That's definitely at Whitehead's, which is sort of literally just down the corridor, because I don't know how much you know about Paul Whitehead, but he was Dashwood's second-hand man. They were best friends. And when he died, he left 2 things to Sir Francis. He left £50 and his heart. As you do, you know, a best friend, you just leave them your heart as you do, kind of thing. I hope that's what's going to happen when I die. And his urn that his heart was placed in is actually still in the alcove to this day. His heart was actually stolen in 1829, and it's sort of said, one of the old wives' tales around here is that Paul Whitehead goes around calling for his heart, and you have to respond, "Paul, I do not have your heart," or he'll take yours out of jealousy. We're not liable for any losses of hearts, by the way, or anything of that sort, so just warning, but definitely, I mean, this is mainly where we have lots of EVPs happening. That's probably the main thing I'd say. One thing to be wary of is draining equipment happens so much here. I've literally, investigations, we've had like packs of batteries just blow, and then as soon as they've got to the next location, they work again.
Okay. You've had that before.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's, you know, classic of locations.
Yeah.
Actually, if we're going through the list of things, all the classics.
It's probably the biggest headache out of anything that could happen is your equipment just, I know this is charged. Yeah.
No, we've seen it happen the worst. Literally, we had one whole literally a 12-hour investigation gone, and that was heartbreaking. Gosh. So yeah, please be wary of that. I say more than welcome to use our chargers in the cafe as well. Franklin's, there's the face of the devil on the walls, which I'll show you in a bit as well. That's where our hooded figure is spotted a lot. He was sort of, people believe he is the representation of the devil, because William Hogarth, you'll see many faces on the walls. He's a very famous artist at the time. Sir Francis brought him in to carve all of the faces of the members of the club into the walls. So for them to have got the devil himself carved into the wall, they evidently considered it a member. So obviously the rumours of the club, they believe will be Satanists. The word sacrifice is thrown a lot as well. We cannot confirm or deny those statements, unfortunately, because our lovely Paul Whitehead, actually 3 days before he died, burnt all of the records of the club. Yeah, you know, people say maybe they weren't doing bad things. It's like, well, if he burned all of the records 3 days before he died, he definitely would have been doing something a little bit naughty, essentially. So here's mainly where we see light orbs. That happens a lot. Again, classic of locations. The banqueting hall is my favourite place. That is my hotspot, because I have, you know, that's where I've had stones thrown at me. The White Lady Suki, she often stands in this corridor and sort of watches me tell her story on tours. The banqueting hall is also where she was believed to have died. So screams, say stones thrown at you. She's often hates men. I'm sorry.
Nice.
But that's her story. She was killed.
Maybe I can charm her.
Taking you out, and then we got to drag you out.
Good luck. We'll keep an eye on the cameras just in case. But the banqueting hall and then the inner temple. Obviously, you cross the river Styx in Greek mythology. Pay the ferryman to get from the living to the realm of the dead. The inner temple is horrible, I will tell you. That I've literally, again, had to drag people out. Shortness of breath, especially. It's sort of past the banqueting hall is where you start to feel watched. You feel the temperature drop. It's about 8 to 10 degrees. I promise you, you will feel that chill. It's sort of, you know, your neck hairs raise up and you just sort of feel a bit wary. So just be careful. I say, obviously, you are directly at the bottom. You are 300 feet underneath the ground and about a quarter of a mile from the surface. So be careful. But definitely, I'd say the 3 main places, Whitehead's, the Banqueting Hall, and the Inner Temple, is where I'd recommend you spend the most time. If you want to do any sort of Estes session, obviously radio signal is a bit difficult, so do it up here. We've had, I'm not even joking you, some incredible Estes sessions here. We've literally done where I've gone into trances in the cafe where I cannot hear them, and we have got the exact same things on the sessions. It is
Nice.
Oh, it's incredible. If you're going to do any flashlight sessions, definitely recommend it in the Banqueting Hall. That's a lot. Cat balls, REM pods, Banqueting Hall. But one thing I will say is this place is, equipment may not be 100% like you see at other locations, but the feeling. Call out, the thing I sort of say to everyone, call out whatever you see, hear, feel, no matter what. Obviously, you don't know what it could mean to someone else. Just be aware, say, of how you're feeling. Because I've been walking down there like anything, and the next minute I've been on the floor. Like, I can't breathe, feel like something sat on your chest. So please be careful. I say it's a very demonic location. People say portals have been opened in the Inner Temple for hundreds of years. Do I believe it? Absolutely. Because I say some days you come down here and it's very positive or completely like nothing. Other days it's like sort of Clapham Junction in your head, and it's like a train station, and it's so many things, and you're like, what is going on?
Here we go.
Here we
Here's
go.
Whitehead's.
Down
So-
through the Hellfire
You can
Caves.
see his urn. That's the original marble urn
Oh,
down here. Yeah, so the one sat next to him with sort of the little acorn on top, that is his urn. So that was originally up in the mausoleum. He was said to be one of the only non-Dashwood members ever to be buried in the mausoleum, and directly to the right of Sir Francis, because a lot of people believe that they were a bit more than friends. So, I mean, if I, don't mind me saying, the picture on the front of the urn is quite provocative in itself. So, yeah, that's solid marble, so it's probably around 8 to 10 million, not million, £1,000 today. So, very expensive, hence why we keep it locked up. But yeah.
Yeah, for real.
But as you can imagine, people just go, it's like, no, that's very expensive. But yeah, lots of equipment, lots of EVPs here, especially. So,
All the little carvings,
Mhm.
are these like
see,
things that are already here?
most of them are vandalism, if we're completely honest. Obviously, you can see if we venture a bit further down, you can see 2 of the faces that are in the walls. So you see that one's obviously got a cross on the forehead, obviously. Quite ironic considering that they were believed to be Satanists and be completely against religion. And this one here is actually meant to represent Sir Francis himself, because it said that men would dress as monks, women would dress as nuns, and Dashwood himself would dress as the Pope at these meetings. So you can kind of guess what people were into at those times. Yeah. It's also, this is the circle. So this is called Lord Sandwich's Circle, or the Earl of Sandwich, who was a member. And it said that ladies would go to the right, men would go to the left, and they would meet their partner for the evening. As their motto was Fecese tu voudras, which translates to do what thou wilt, or do what you want, and they most definitely did do who and what they wanted in this place. You think they wouldn't have dug a cave if they didn't have those intentions. But personally, I'm going to take us all to the right, always. If ever I do an investigation, always take everyone down the right side, just because it's what my intuition tells me to, so here we go, further down. So this is actually the longest straight part of the cave. So you can see it's quite a steady decline as well. So it's not just like they were digging sort of for nothing. Now this was actually, it was found on a little transcript. This is members of the club that was believed to be. So you can see most of them members of Parliament, the son of the Archbishop of Canterbury, the physician to the Prince of Wales, all very, very important people doing things they didn't do in the public eye. So there you go, poets, MPs, painters. And as we'll see down there, we have a model of Benjamin Franklin, who is thought to be a member of the club as well. Whether or not he was a member, or we know he definitely visited West Wickham House. He was a friend of Sir Francis, because obviously Benjamin Franklin at the time was sort of the ambassador for the UK. And he was very good friends with Dashwood. Dashwood was a very important man at those times. The family was in the silk trade, which pretty pennies back in those days, about 270 odd years ago. And you mentioned about markings on the walls. We have 22 steps here. So this is obviously Roman numerals to represent 22. And we don't know whether many people believe it was for a secret passage in the caves. Other people believe it was just for the workers, just for 22 markers from the entrance. But if we take a bit of a wander down, we have what is thought to be a secret passageway. So here we have our supposed secret passageway. Now, Sir Francis, on his deathbed, did, and I can confirm he ordered for all the secret passageways in the caves to be sealed. And now people before us have managed to get a pinpoint camera through there, and they can see that there's tunnel leading further, but obviously it just goes black, and the nature of chalk, it either stays put or collapses. One thing that's quite interesting though, turn around.
Ah.
There you go, another face on the wall. But you wouldn't have thought they would have just put a face leading to a corridor blocked off if it meant nothing.
Right.
You know, growing up around West Wickham, they do tell you that it's like an ant farm and there's tunnels going everywhere, and that Sir Francis had a tunnel directly from the manor so he could go without the public seeing him. Come on. Like, you'd like to think that, you know, at least something was happening. I will tell you that we're not alone right now. So that's something. There are shadow figures walking up and down the circle, which is very common. Welcome to what goes on in my brain. So shadow figures is very common here. Obviously, when you're in the dark, it's a bit difficult, but mainly shadow figures, you see orbs of light or, you know, tricks of the light, especially. You know, you're underground, your mind does start to play tricks on you. But yeah, we're definitely not alone tonight, so that's something. But this is obviously our mannequins of Francis on the left and Franklin on the right. Now, Benjamin Franklin has one of my favourite quotes of all time. He said, "You should always choose an older woman because they appreciate the attention more, and in the dark, all cats are grey." Yeah, exactly. That's obviously Americans like that one because they're like, "Oh no," and I'm like, yeah, he was probably not a very nice man. But as you can imagine, back in those days, they literally would have just had a candle to lead them around. So, you know, you think there's a few shadows sort of in the light, but I promise you, when the lights go off, you cannot see your hand in front of your face.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah, definitely.
You'd be like, I think I made a left here. No, maybe you're right.
Exactly. I will take you here. We're going to pause here because there we have the devil, which I told you about. So as you can see, he used to be painted bright red and sort of had another horn, and he's got quite a grim smile. So yeah, and I can promise you that is all original. So talking about 270-ish years old that's been there. So and people are like, oh, maybe they weren't Satanists. I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, they definitely didn't like religion if they're putting that on the walls back in those days. So sort of, again, as you can see, it's not your average cave system. We are on a steady decline all the way down. And as we come into here is the banqueting hall, which, as I said, is one of the most active spots. Look up.
Whoa.
There you go. So this banqueting hall is the largest man-dug chalk cavern in the world. We're talking about 60 foot up and about 40 foot across. Now, I will say, if you're looking up, keep your mouth shut, as we're directly under the graveyard. So if you get dripped on, it's body juice.
Oh my
Woo! You're like, no, absolutely not. I love it. But yeah, this is our banqueting hall. This is where, obviously, as you can imagine, all the big parties did happen. It was said that they had a massive wooden table in the middle. You know, claret was always the drink of choice. It would have been expensive meats and fruits and cheeses, you know, back in those days, all very things that rich people would get. I want you to take a guess of what happened in these 4 alcoves in the walls.
Take a guess about what?
Mm-hmm.
Something not good.
So, as you can see on the front of these alcoves, they have pickaxe marks in them. If I can get my phone to work, that would help. I should have brought my torch down. But we have pickaxe marks all over the walls and all of over the front as well. So that's actually because these alcoves all had curtains drawn across them and beds inside them. And these are tally marks of how many times believed that people had intercourse in these. caverns. And as you can see, they are all over the walls on the inside, as well as on the front here as well.
I just got dripped on.
Yep. Chances of showers down here as well.
Just got me some dead juice.
Yeah, body juice. We love it. See, we just get used to it and we're like, yeah, bring it on. But yeah, as you can see, it's obviously very drippy down here. So be aware. Again, as well, you're hearing things most of the time. It's a drip on the table. Obviously, it goes on the metal table, does make a bit of a clang. So, yeah. But past this point, as I mentioned earlier, is where only the 12 brothers or disciples of the club used to go. So past this point, none of us are welcome. So this is where you start to feel, you know, the bit on your chest. This corridor between the bottom of the banqueting hall and the top of the triangle is the only part of the caves I'd hate. Absolutely hate. And that's because obviously Suki, the White Lady, one of our most prevalent spirits, is thought to have died in here.
In this room?
Yeah, sort of just at the mouth of the caves. Mouth of the tunnel. And often when I tell her story on tours that she stands in the corridor and just watches me. And something that's actually, my first tour was Friday the 13th of May last year, very on brand. But as I was doing the tour, I could see her just stood there and I kind of ignored it. And afterwards, me and my friends, actually, I was with Holly, who's my colleague on the surface. And I said, oh yeah, she was watching me whilst and my friend Claudia put her foot on the brakes and turned around and went, what? And I'm like, yeah. She said, Holly, what did I say to you when we were in there? And Holly said, there's something watching her. So, yeah, it's, you know, this place isn't a joke. But yeah. This is where, I say, you feel the temperature drop as well, and it's, you know that you're not alone kind of thing. It was down here, actually, where I had one of my first experiences when I worked here. And I was doing cave check in the evening, just making sure that there was no public in here anymore, and I fully stopped because I thought there was someone behind me and I heard a scream as loud as day in front of me. And I was like, this is my time to leave. So, again, this is where it's quite steep. Now, this is what we call Judgment's Pass, the triangle. It's also said to represent the female anatomy, as it's a triangle. And it was said that if you were a saint, you would go that way. And if you're a sinner, you would go that way. And if you made the wrong decision, if you lied about what you were, then judgment would come to you. Not necessarily instantly, but judgment will one day come. So are we saints or are we sinners? That is a good question. I'll let you guys, I've gone either way, I'm pretty much screwed, so I'll let you guys take the lead. Are you a saint or are you a sinner?
I'm going to go this way.
I'm going to go this, I don't blame you. Absolutely, but... So again, this is quite slippy here, so just be quite careful. If you ever, you know, God forbid, need to run up and down these tunnels for any reason this evening. And again, this is sort of where you imagine when they just had the candles. And as you will see later on, just how dark it really gets. Because there's no natural light to us here. There you go, it's a bit brighter. It's a bit nicer. But, yeah. There we go. So, we are now pretty much 300 feet underneath the ground. So, it's 300 feet or 90 meters, but 300 feet sounds a lot more flashy, so we like to tell that one more. So obviously, as you can see on that board, we did have Most Haunted back here in 2003. Not that I remember that, because that's when I was born, so... But it's obviously a quite prevalent episode with decor as well. And, you know, we have people come, as you say, all over the world that come to investigate this place. And it is absolutely no joke. So now we were going to cross the River Styx, as in Greek mythology, obviously it is where you would pass the realm of the living into the realm of the dead. And as we are going to be passing into the inner temple, into our man-made hell. As in here, just be careful on the step down on the way here, it does catch you off guard. So yeah, a little step down, so just be careful. But in here, I've actually come in. As you can see, this light is literally just quite on a thin wire. I have come in here and I have seen this, I'm not even joking you, chandelier swinging around the room. and that was when we hadn't even been open to the public that day. So, and it's obviously, we're 300 feet underground, there's no airflow, there's no way wind could blow it around. I was the first person down in the day, and it was swinging around this room. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are feeling it, but it's very heavy on the chest down here. It's not positive. And sort of around the back, I don't know if you guys will be able to get it on camera, but around the back here, you'll be able to see where we have had a silver coin put into the walls. Let me see where it is. In here. I can't remember which where it is. It's around sort of the back of the statue here. And we had a silver coin put into the walls for cleansing reasons, as we've had portals been opened, we had demonic and satanic rituals happen down here. So we've got silver in the walls to protect us down here.
So this is where they did
This is where they did that ritual. They had a pentagram drawn on this table and blood candles at each point, burning Bible pages, hailing Satan, toasting red wine. Yeah. And as I said, once that was done, blew out the candles, you could literally feel the hair stood up on the back of your neck. And it was like, yeah, this is not positive at all. But this, say, another hot spot. Literally, only the other week I was recording a podcast, and I had my back sort of turned to the tunnel. And the podcast partner was there, stood with me. And I looked at their producer, and she went, sort of pointed up the tunnel. So I had a look. There was no one there, and I could have, hand on heart, sworn that I heard a man's voice. I sort of looked, and then the podcast guy, he wanted to shoot some stuff, so we went and started the tunnel. She said, "Is there someone down here with us?" And I said, "I think so." I said, "Let me call my colleague." And Holly said, "There's no one down there with you. There's been no one here since you guys came back." And we're like, okay, time to leave. No, thank you, not today. So yeah, that was horrible, but this is obviously the very most bottom point. This is where it was believed they did most of their rituals and most of their potential sacrifices. So in here, it is not a very positive energy. It's also in here where all the portals are believed to have been opened. I say portals have been opened down here for hundreds of years. Yeah, directly underneath the church. So hopefully you guys will have a good night. Obviously, if you want me to do cleansing before you leave tonight, I'm more than happy to. That's what I'm here for, to protect you all. But yeah.
You don't want to take nothing.
You won't. I promise you won't take anything back. Obviously, I say to everyone, if at that point you do get nervous about it, just call out and say, you can come and interact with us, but you cannot come home with us. Just that kind of thing. Always speak it out into the open, and always trust your gut is my main advice.
Is there anybody down here with us right now? My name is Renee.
I'm Phil. We just want to interact with you. See if you can make some of these lights blink, or the cat balls go off here or here, or maybe even the REM pod over here. We just want to verbally interact with you, not physically interact with you.
Yeah, so we're using our EMF meter. We're using the Ghost Tube app. We've got some flashlights and some cat balls set up, and a REM pod set up over there. So if you're here with us, can you use this device in my hand to communicate through, or touch one of the balls?
What was that?
Let's see. I think. What do you see? Can you come over here and touch this REM pod? It'll just go off just like that.
Or move one of the cat balls on this chair or the statue. That'll make it blink and light up.
So Willow said somebody was laughing at us earlier. Can you tell us your name?
What was that?
And just got like a really cold chill across my legs.
It just blinked to you right before you turned.
It's a water droplet. It just blinked up to this next color green and then went off. Were there bad things that happened in this room? Please? Please what?
You wouldn't go.
So I heard a man's voice. Were you part of the club that was down here?
Created.
How many people were in your club? Do you like it when people come down here? Is anybody here that knows Sir Francis Dashwood? Was he your friend? Somebody needs to plug up the ghost that's coming out your butt. They don't need to cleanse this place again after you leave and all the farts you lay in.
Keep getting dripped on.
It's probably dookie running out on you.
It ain't running that far.
Stop.
I can't help it. I'm not doing it on purpose.
All right, if you don't want to talk, we're going to move to a different room.
Moving on to another location. That was the inner
I
temple.
think this is freaking awesome looking.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I like us on both sides. What?
Look, I was looking where y'all were because I was hearing footsteps over here.
Move back up the cave a little bit.
It's cold through here.
We just came out of the inner temple, across the river Styx, through the miner's cave and around the triangle, just before the banquet hall.
Hello? Hello?
Hey, I feel kind of tall. My head almost hits the top right here.
Hey, it's another diarrhea. It's fine.
Now we are in the banquet hall.
So this is where Suki This is where Suki was lured down here, thinking she was meeting a guy, but a couple of guys ended up doing her wrong.
Bingo, we got action. Cat balls going off. Hey Jay, look up. And as soon as I tell you that, it freaking stops. If you want, you can touch it again. We have one there, we have one there, we have the REM pod over here that, as you can see, lights up and makes noise. And we also have one right here.
We have a figure over there by that cat ball.
Huh?
We have a big figure over there by that cat ball. If you're over there by that cat ball, can you touch it?
Now it's gone. Now it's back. Yeah.
Suki, are you down here with us? We were sorry to hear about what happened to you.
Yeah, that sucked. They shouldn't have done you like that.
We understand you don't like men, but I'm assuming because of that.
I wouldn't hurt you, Suki. I'm cool. Just throwing that out there. In case that's why you don't want to interact with us, is because I'm here. But don't be afraid. It's all good.
So if you're down here, you can use this device in my hand to talk to us, or you can go over and touch one of the balls that light up, or the device over here that lights up. It won't hurt you. I'm sure you're very familiar with these devices with people coming down here. So he what? Help her what?
You gotta give us a little more than that. We need a little more than help her. We're gonna try and use the S box. Okay. Okay. Sometimes we have luck with this. A lot of times we don't. I mean, I've seen where people that do use this, like, we get all kinds of good stuff on it, but I think there's only been like one instance where we've gotten semi-decent stuff from this. I mean, most of the time it just, for whatever reason, it doesn't work for us. In essence, for those of you that don't know, the S box is supposed to essentially do what the Ghost box does, and it scans through frequencies, as you can tell, trying to pick up on voices or stuff that shouldn't be on this radio. If it does think it picks up on something, it'll briefly stop on that channel to see if it can get some more before moving on. Because if it does get something, it's, like I said, it's supposed to stop, and then continue on. But I said, not saying it's a flawed product, not saying it's a bad product, because I've read several reviews from different people that have used it that swear by it up and down. They use it 100% and get all kinds of good stuff on it. We just, for whatever reason, we've never really had any luck with it. If there's somebody here that would like to communicate with us, I have this thing. You can put your energy into it and speak. Or you can let us know you're here by lighting up any one of the things that we have placed around the room. Don't be shy, don't be afraid. We're just here to talk and hang out.
This would be like a super cool place to have a party.
To what?
It's like, you know, how she was saying that they would have the banquet, like the table set up and stuff. Wouldn't this be like an awesome place to have a party?
I can see that giant table right here.
Maybe some techno music playing. Bumping the caves. You know there's probably some good acoustic down here.
Oh, yeah. You get that freaking bass thumping, it'd fill this whole room up. I guess we're not the lucky ones tonight. Suki, you don't want to interact with us? It's probably because I'm here, I know it. Sorry, I'm a dude. All right, guys, that does it for the banquet spot. We're going to get up our stuff and head on back up to another location.
Somebody just hit me in the eye. Pink eye. I got the pink eye.
I've been juiced on.
Ah. What is it? England, are you trying to murder me? A spider was trying to climb in my eyeball earlier, now some body juice.
Onward ho. All right, guys, so we have made it up from the inner temple to the first stop, if you're coming in from the entrance, to Whitehead's Cave. This, as you heard earlier, houses Whitehead's urn, correct?
Yes, but the heart was stolen.
The heart was stolen, but the urn is still here. See if we get anything here. So we got two, keep getting drooped on. So we got two cat balls and the rim pie back out. Still have no service on this thing.
Hello?
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 You gotta do it, Boo.
Mr. Paul Whitehead, are you down here in these caves with us?
If you are, can you, maybe when the cat balls go off, or maybe this REM pod, just let us know that you're here with us, at least trying to communicate. We haven't had too much luck here in the Hellfire Caves, in the inner temple or in the banquet hall. Was hoping maybe we'd have a little more luck with communication here at your area. Sorry to hear your heart was stolen.
Paul, if you really, truly gave your heart to Sir Francis Dashwood, can you light up one of these balls or touch that device right there and make it light up? By the way, you can't have my heart. Sorry.
No, can't have mine either.
So if you don't want to touch one of these balls, you can just make a noise in the cave. Maybe give us a hooty hoo.
Or woody woo. Maybe hit something. Bang on something. Make the wig on this mannequin move. Anything. Let us know you're here. Well, guys, I've been left. AJ was getting cold. She wanted to walk out the caves. So Renee took her. She thinks it's funny. That's pretty much what's going on here. She thinks it's funny to leave me here in the caves by myself. She's gonna pay for it later. She just don't know it yet. Well, so far, I don't know. We won't really know if we got anything that we couldn't hear or see until we edit the video, but as of right now, sorry, they couldn't deliver more, but you know, these things happen. Sometimes everything's bouncing off the walls, like at the Jean Bonnet Tavern in the middle of broad daylight. And other times, you get nothing. Nobody wants to talk. I know I am getting tired of getting dripped on. I've been getting dripped on this whole time. The camera's gotten dripped on several times. I've gotten dripped on. Comes with territory, I guess. On my hat. I don't know if y'all saw it or not.
Hootie.
Why are you doing a hootie hoo dance?
That's what happens when you don't have any action and you get bored, and so you're just standing here.
That's true.
You do it for the security cameras, everybody in the employee lounge watching. Bye.
All right, we're gonna walk the circle in different ways. She's going that side, I'm going this side, because back in the day, the men would walk the circle one way, the women would walk the circle another way, and then when you met here,
You'd say, boo.
that would be your date. Where are you going? You gotta watch her face. She just be like wandering.
Hello? Are you hiding in here?
Wow.
I smell you. All right, so we hope you enjoyed our visit to the Hellfire Caves. So, to me, just seeing this place and hearing the stories about it were enough to come here. Even if we didn't really get any action ourselves, I know people have gotten things here, so I know there's things here in these caves.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about that.
Like we said, sometimes that's just the way the dice gets rolled. I mean, sometimes you get a lot of stuff, sometimes you get nothing. So,
But just to be here,
yeah,
once in
awesome.
a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, definitely worth the trip, hands down. I mean, amazing.
All right, we'll catch you at the next exit.
Keep it spooky. You thought she was gonna do it, didn't you? Later.